Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Frankie B, and I am back in the art flow. Oh my God, I just wanted to say, hey, I missed you guys. Um, well, as you can imagine, I am in what I call my production state. Production being working on Kajus and Cowboys. Oh, here, let me just finesse the music a little bit so I'm not shouting and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's like this year has really been a really exciting year. Just a lot of artwork. I mean, it's just, but even more so exciting is the fact that Kajus and Cowboys is, I'm now working on issue 2, and it just revving up for next year, 2022. Whereas we're going to be coming out under the, we're being published by Second Sight Publishing, and that's exciting. I mean, it's I've creator owned a few other projects in the past. The one I would say the last one that I did was called Robot God Akamatsu, and that was with James Biggie, and that was back in 2012, between 2012 2013, I would say. And we had a publisher and stuff, but we treated it more as a graphic novel. And yeah, I learned a lot from that. It was a whirlwind when we put out Robot God Akamatsu. The difference was that pretty much I feel like 95% of Robot God Akamatsu, maybe even 100% of Robot God Akamatsu had already been illustrated and done. So there was really no production state. Like when we got picked up, it was just it was just a publisher looking at it going, okay, boom, you guys got something, and let me just publish it. So it was already done. So there was never that sense of being right in the middle of the production, like getting picked up by a publisher and then working right in the midst of it. And that's pretty much where me and Matthew are right now. We did, the contract was done, and it's pretty much for 12 issues. And so that's my mindset. We have 12 issues that we want to, try to get out there. It's really going to come down to whether or not people who get the comic books and support it and stuff like that, on whether or not we can actually make it to that 12 issues. I'm hoping that we can, but we'll only know once the actual first issue is put out there. And it's looking like it, I'll give a little tidbit. It's looking like it might be more summer 2022. Don't hold me to it, but it's looking like it might be around that point. But that would be fantastic, because then hopefully we'll get a big chunk of stuff done. So there's no sense of like stress and trying to produce the material. I mean, one of the big things as a consumer, and here, let me just start drawing anyway. What I'm drawing, I know I'm ahead of myself. See, this is what happens because I have not been able to do any of these the video art drawings that I do, just because I've been in the production state, because I've been working on Kajus and Cowboys. What I'm doing here, though, is a piece which I'm hoping to put into the Alterna auction that's going to be coming up this Saturday. And what it is a new character called King Cryptid, by the very talented Peter Samedi. And I'm doing it it came out on a Wednesday, blank cover. I really love the blank covers. Peter outdid himself. These are really good. They hold ink very well. So this is a stage where I've already lately used a non-photo blue pencil. Here you go, right there. And I'm going to be using my standard Papermate Sharp Writer #2s. These are just great. They're just easy to use. And I'm going to start just drawing it out. And then this will be, as my usual ones, a mashup video. Me just talking, yammering on a little bit. I think I'm gonna yammer a little bit longer because this is what happens. This is what happens when, again, I haven't, most likely it looks like I'm gonna be not doing a lot of videos in the foreseeable future because of the production. But when I do videos, there'll be just these things where it just be special moments and stuff. And you'll be able to, listen to the ramblings of this mad artist. But also see the artwork as well. So it feels kind of good. So this has afforded me a little small break from Kajus and Cowboys, because I wrapped up what I call stage 2, and then I'm gonna move into stage 3, and then and get going on that. But anyway, this is a very interesting character, and I'm really hoping, that depending on my schedule and stuff like that, that I'll get a chance to play in the field, in the world that the field and the world that Peter is sculpting together. You know, I did like a little rough drawing of King Cryptid a while ago. It was on something else though. It was for a commission, I think. Oh, my memory, everything just bleeds together. This is what happens when you get so much information, so much stuff going on at one point, and everything just kind of bleeds in. You know, you just lose sight of certain things. You go, oh man, did I work on this? Did I work on that? I want to also thank some of the new folks that have found my channel and stuff. You know, I try to be very honest with people, and I say, look, I'm not a. Please don't come to this channel expecting it to be a tutorial. This is not a tutorial. This is just I treat it more as a online portfolio, you know, of what I'm doing, and that if you do get motivated to want to pursue a career in drawing, then that's great. You know, I rather be. I consider this more of a, hopefully, a inspirational kind of channel where you can see that I'm somebody who's worked in the industry for 30 plus years, and that, you know, you can make something of it. You just have to be persistent. You got to be dedicated, and there has to be a level of seriousness about it. I mean, you know, we all like to laugh. We all like to have fun, goofy moments and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But my mom always said that you got to first do your work first, and then you can play later. And that's always been my mentality. It's funny, like when I talk about the production stage of working on Kajis and Cowboys, it brings my memories back to when I worked on when I was into working on 2 films. The first film was the movie Squeeze, that was filmed in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and I did storyboards and on that film, and it was an indie. I think it ended up getting picked up by Miramax, and it came out and stuff. God, I'm trying to remember what year. It was in the 90s. Definitely had to be the 90s. Yeah, that's pretty much when my freelancing career really started booming off. I feel like it was in the 90s. But anyway, so I got to work on that. I actually, well, it never made it to the actual theatrical release, but I had a part in it. They had me as a storekeeper and stuff who is kicking the kids out of my store. But I don't think I made it off of the cutting room floor on that one. But it definitely, working in film was the first starting point of educating me about the sense of the importance of production, and how you can't just kind of, you know, not respect that and understand it. Because it is important. It's very important. Production is everything. There's a reason why films take the time that they do coming out, and that, you know, the consumer doesn't really know much about it, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. You know, it's like the sausage factory. You know, you're, as a consumer, the consumer cares about the sausage. They want to get this, you know, they want to get the food already done, but do they really care about how it's made? Some do, maybe, but the vast majority don't. They just want to make sure that you can get the product out. That's just my feeling, my personal opinion on that. So the key thing, as somebody who's working on something, on projects, you know, I have to make sure that I give adequate time to the production, so that I can ensure that the product, the eventual product, is at a place where everyone that's part of it can feel good about it. You know, because that's the key thing. You want to feel like that whatever you're putting out there into the world is like, you know, you're behind it. So that even if you get the critiques or whatever, you go, well, I still feel good about it, you know. And that's what you want. So pretty much that's the place where I'm at right now, especially with Kajis and Cowboys. So exciting. It actually does feel good to be doing sequential art again. You know, as much as commissions are fun, you know, it's still, there's something magical about doing sequential pages. I think that was one of the things that sort of drew me into becoming a pro artist. You know, I've always been a huge fan of that, like to be able to tell a story through artwork and the things you can do with it. You know, tell a story through visuals, imagery. So anyway, let me get back. I'm sorry, like my brain's just getting so flat. I'm getting into the art now. It's slowly hitting me. The second film, so after Squeeze, I was at that point I was working for this production company called Robbins Entertainment, and they ended up getting into another deal with Miramax in which they did this movie called Next Stop, Wonderland, in which the director was Brad Bird, and I remember working with Brad pretty closely. And it was a film that was based in Boston this time around, and it dealt with Wonderland stop on the Blue Line. And I just remembered, being on the Blue Line with him and doing rough storyboards and stuff, and the energy, the excitement. There's something to be said about working in production like that. There's a level of energy that you're just, it's amazing. I mean, of course, there's, because you're dealing with a lot of creative people, there's always going to be times when, you get the fights and the arguments and stuff like that. But everyone is dedicated to producing something that's going to be solid, something that's going to be magnificent. Everybody wants to see this thing succeed, and that's always the underlying thing to many of these projects. So yeah, then after that, let's see. After Next Stop, Wonderland, which and then I like to just add both of those films. If anyone wants to try to look them up, I do have a screen credit as a storyboard artist. And that was kind of nice. It was nice seeing my name up on the big screen. I was like, whoa, wow, okay. So then after that, I sort of stumbled around a little bit, and this is still back in the early '90s, and my teacher suggested that I contact this local animation studio that was looking for a storyboard artist, concept artist, and storyboard artist as well. And I went in and I showed my stuff, and they were like, okay, cool. All right, we'll take you. And that was a freelance. It was a freelance gig. That was my first foray, I think, really. No, actually it wasn't. I think I did a couple other freelance gigs, but this was really one that was where you're working with a studio and stuff like that. So they kept me on. Like, I did a lot of work for them, so it was pretty consistent. But animation was fun too. I learned a lot too from animation, just old school 2D animation and and animators and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot I learned from that. A lot of stuff I respect about it. That's why even today I collect like cell art. I've got a lot of Japanese cartoon animes, super robot shows. And it's, with cell art, I love it. It's beautiful. But yeah, and so from there it just opened up a huge world, and it was again my point of learning how to respect and understand production time. I always feel that that's the most important thing. I want any artists out there, our creators out there who are trying to do comic books to understand that you really have to be mindful of it. You never want to, not have that as part of your your level of thought. And when you're producing something, you have to be mindful of it so much, because the thing about it is that if you're not, then that's when mistakes happen and you get caught up, and now you're doing a mad dash trying to get the work out too quickly, and stuff just looks weird, or if you happen to not be able to be fast enough, then more issues come and it just gets bad for you. It doesn't turn good. I never forget, one of my mentors once told me, they said, you have this slim opening where people get to see who you are, you do your work, and you really don't want to screw that up. You really don't, because it leaves a lasting, a lasting effect with you sometimes. Some people can recover, but it's just not good. You don't want to do that. All right, so let me get back here on the art. All right, so this is King Cryptid, and this piece right here is going to be a two-parter, because over here I have like a Thunderbird. I had the idea of him being a Thunderbird, and he's flying next to a Thunderbird. And since Thunderbirds are big, I'm drawing him much more bigger than him. I honestly don't know all the powers of King Cryptid, but I'm having fun, with the character. I don't think Peter mind, and I just try to imagine him as a giant, you know, like he's just flying. He's just flying up in New Hampshire, and he's like, hey, what's going on, fellow Thunderbird or whatever. Or maybe not New Hampshire. It could be probably the Thunderbird mythology. I think they were up here in the Northeast, maybe Northwest, possibly. But anyway, it just seemed like a cool idea, you know. I had another idea that I was gonna go with, and it was really just him sort of chilling on the New Hampshire state line and stuff, and again, he's a giant. I just see him as a giant. I know Pete has him. I think Pete said he's like 7 feet tall. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just had him as this big giant. And he's kind of just chilling and is relaxing, or sort of leaning against the New Hampshire "Welcome to New Hampshire" sign. I thought that would be kind of fun. That's how my mind goes. I thought it'd be kind of interesting. And you see all these people on the highway, and they're just kind of like stunned, and he's just chilling. He's just like, hey, I thought that could be a fun one. And then I just was like, oh, it just seemed kind of boring. I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna probably end up doing a paste up, and you know, that just turns into a whole different thing. And so I just said, I'll forget it. I'll save that for some other day or whatever. One thing I've learned about, you know, the kind of artwork that I love doing, I've learned that I'm definitely someone who I tend to like more. I love action. Don't get me wrong. I love really well choreographed scenes. I don't like stuff that just looks so staticky, kind of like you go, oh, that's just my foray. I just don't dig that kind of stuff. I like to sort of challenge myself. So if I do action, then I want to do, you know, like the actions well thought out and stuff like that, the scenes, and that it just makes sense. You know, if a character's punching somebody, then what's the impact of that punch? And yeah, I get all into that stuff. I love that stuff. But with that said, one of the other things that I do like is the more quieter points, you know, just like in this scenario right here, where he's just, when Pete first mentioned this character, I immediately was thinking of this regal kind of look about him, and he's just serene and you know, and trying to capture that visually. How do you capture a sort of kingly kind of presence? And I mean, you could do the classic one where it's like a king stance and he's kind of overlooking something. But then even in those moments, you know, I'm like, he's not gonna be doing that all the time, right? So it's like, I said, for this piece, I said, maybe I'm gonna just have it where he's just kind of just flying. He's flying around, and he's like, hey, Thunderbird, what's going on? Yeah, it's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. I know it's like, I rarely do videos where I'm showing you the process of the penciling and stuff, but it's kind of cool, right? Oh, let's see. I'm gonna look up for a second. A camera and okay. Well, so we're at 18 minutes. At 20 minutes, then I'm gonna switch over to hyperlapse. I think that's fair. Oh boy, man, I can't believe how it's just now we're heading off into the fall has come. It's just so much stuff. It's just crazy. It's been good though. It's been great. I gotta admit, it's been pretty great for comics. I've seen a lot of like projects just, you know, just getting out there, and people are really seeing like there's a level of enthusiasm. You know, it's really, it's awesome. You know, I'm very happy. I'm always happy to see people doing what they love, man, and putting it out there. I don't think anything. That's the whole point of what I believe the whole sense of the American dream and stuff. That you just go out there, you don't let nothing stop you. I don't know why this thumb is bothering me. Maybe lower it a little bit. It just doesn't seem. It looks too weird. So, and that's the cool part about when you're laying down pencil and stuff. You can kind of take your time and kind of sketch it out and stuff. But anyway. So yeah, this guy's got a lot of hair too. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Get in there and get into inking it up. Reminds me a lot of another character I love that was very hairy. here was Sasquatch. I'm currently reading the. I got a couple of trades of Alpha Flight. Love Alpha Flight. Love John. Well, Alpha Flight to me was John Burns. He really, this was his team. His concept, and it was fantastic. Just looking at those pages, looking at stuff in it now, it's just like, oh, it brings back my childhood. I really got into it. All right. That reminds me of I keep thinking of Sasquatch. All right, I'm at 20. And you know what? Music's going. I'm going to fix this too. I don't know why I'm not liking that. Yeah, give it a little bend, maybe. See, this is what happens. I start fussing over it. All right, I got to switch that to hyperlapse. But with that said, keep the art flowing.